When you're alone in your room during a long autumn evening, for a moment, the world seems so dark and empty that it's hard to understand how you even ended up here. And why does it matter? Sometimes you can't even tell what's really important anymore. You think about what it means to be an adult, what choice really means, and what you actually want. I don't know how long this lasts, but sometimes it feels like I'm standing at the threshold of some important milestone, but I can't make the step. The usual feeling of anxiety rises that there's something missing, something more. This moment should be special or significant, but instead, it just seems to dissolve into the everyday fog. It feels like the world has been moving faster than I can keep up with. Or maybe I just don't know how to move in it. This feeling only grows with each passing day, but I can't find the words to explain what exactly feels wrong. I don't want to stay still, but I don't know where to go. I've been thinking a lot about what's really important to my generation. We, the millennials, grew up with a constant sense of uncertainty. We were born in an era of change when everything seemed possible, but at some point it became clear that we probably wouldn't be cool or rich like those we saw in movies or on social media. And if I'm honest, that's not the worst thing. But from this sense of uncertainty, there's no real escape. My day always starts with my phone. I wake up, open my eyes, and the first thing I do is reach for it. Maybe I'm just addicted. Social media, it's like a mirror where you see others but never yourself. Instagram, TikTok, the news feed, it's all just like everyone else's. You scroll, look, and at some point you start to feel like other people's lives are moving faster. They've already graduated, found jobs, traveled, and they all seem to have everything under control. And then I look at myself and think, why not me? It's a horrible feeling, doubts flood in. I don't have a clear goal, I don't have some kind of plan like they do. What's wrong with me? You're just not ready, my inner voice tells me. I know that's probably true. I'm not ready. I'm too afraid to make the steps that could lead me into the unknown. I don't want to risk, but it's exactly that fear that keeps me in place. I feel like I'm stuck in a pause in uncertainty while the world keeps moving faster around me. I've always been taught that to be successful, you have to work on yourself, but no one ever told me that wouldn't be enough. We're all in this race, but what if the very meaning of the race isn't as clear as it once was? When you start to realize that success for most people isn't so much about professional achievements as it is about meeting other people's expectations, it kind of breaks you. Why is everyone so afraid to make mistakes? Why does it feel like there's no freedom in this? Or maybe freedom isn't even about this. Sometimes it feels like success is just a way to fool yourself and others. I often think that it's more important to be honest with myself, but even that isn't always so simple. I had a conversation with a friend recently. We talked about this feeling of emptiness that's hard to explain. Why does it seem like life always has to be full of meaning, full of something, but what do you do when you just don't feel that fullness? A lot of us go through phases when we feel like we can't find our purpose. We talk about the meaning of life all the time, but what does that even mean? Where do you find those small things that bring joy instead of pressure? Sometimes I feel like I just get so tired of life, of the constant pressure, of needing to always be something more than just me. Sometimes I realize that more than anything, I'm afraid of making decisions. Choice always feels so important, but it's hard to pick the right path. Maybe it's because none of these paths are really straightforward. They all have their deviations, questions, doubts, decisions that are hard to make. I think about this a lot. How do you know if a choice is right? Why can't you just find that moment when everything becomes clear? But maybe the right choice isn't always what we expect. In reality, the decisions that seem the most important often lose their meaning over time. A lot depends not on how you choose, but on how you live with that choice. It turns out that the main question is this the right choice? But am I ready to live with the consequences of it? I'm still looking for myself, and I think I'm not alone in that. We, the millennials, live in a world that demands too much from us: recognition, effort, success. But maybe that's not the most important thing. The most important thing, perhaps, is to find inner peace and learn to be honest with yourself.